Thank you for your patience. Medyo na-delay tayo. I am Ryan Ponce Pacpaco, your moderator. Allow me to acknowledge our distinguished guests, House Lead Prosecutor and Committee on Justice Chairperson, Attorney Gerville Jinky Bitrics Luistro of Batangas, and House Prosecutor and Assistant Minority Leader, Attorney Jose Manuel Chel Diokno of Akbayan Party-list. To deliver the opening statements, may we now hear from Chairperson Luistro, followed by Prosecutor Diokno. Ma'am, you may proceed.
Good morning, everyone. Today is a very important day for the country because finally, we will be introducing the first batch of the private prosecutors who will be assisting the House prosecutors. By first batch, it means that there will be subsequent batches. All right? So, how we were able to come together, of course, we solicited the help of private lawyers who are willing to be with us on this cause on a voluntary basis. Mas kilala sa tawag na pro bono o para mas maintindihan pa ng ating mga kababayan, ibig sabihin, libre. Walang bayad, no? And preparation of witnesses, preparation of pleadings, and all others which will be needed with respect to this impeachment trial, no? We have seen in the past as well, as early as the Estrada impeachment, meron ng mga private prosecutors. But I want to make it clear that the lead and the one in control of the trial will still be the House prosecutors. In other words, ang mga private prosecutors po na makakasama ng House prosecutors will be assisting prosecutors. And pursuant to the rules, they will remain under the direct control and supervision of the House prosecutors. We are more confident than before because of the presence of the private prosecutors, and perhaps it's timely to introduce them now, and this will be followed by the succeeding batches of the private prosecutors who will be joining the House prosecutors, no? So that would be all for my opening statement.
Thank you, ma'am. Prosecutor Diokno.
Magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. Hindi naman po bago yung phenomenon ng mga private prosecutors sa impeachment proceedings. Nung pa pong panahon ng impeachment ni dating Pangulong Joseph Estrada, ay meron ng mga private prosecutors. Actually, I was one of those who served as a private prosecutor during that time. Pro bono po yun, volunteer po tayo. At yun ay ginawa po namin yun dahil naniniwala kami sa pananagutan. And we're very thankful that there are also private prosecutors who are providing the same kind of assistance to the public prosecutors today. Hindi po madali ang trabaho ng isang prosecutor. Maraming kailangan gawin in terms of witnesses, in terms of evidence, exhibits. making sure that all the evidence we present is admitted by the court. It's not exactly simple or easy. Kaya we really appreciate the help of our private prosecutors. As far as the rules are concerned, klaro naman, any and all private prosecutors are under the control and supervision of the public prosecutors, and that will be the role that we will maintain throughout the impeachment proceedings. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, you may proceed, ma'am.
So we will now be calling the private prosecutors who will be joining the House prosecutors. Let me begin with these lawyers will be coming from the big and prominent law firms, namely the Pekka Bar, Kapunan, and Saligal law firm, no? There will be private lawyers under the said firms, whom I will be mentioning as well. Bagaman wala sila dito, but the necessary information about these lawyers will be shared as well through our screen. So let me start with introducing Attorney Marforth T. Fua. He is from Pekka Bar Law. His educational background, of course, he finished Bachelor of Laws at San Beda College, Menjola. AB Philosophy from De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. And he ranked 8th in the 2007 bar examinations. His background, he is currently the senior partner and managing partner of Pekka Bar Law, former assistant presidential legal counsel to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. under Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile. His legal expertise, he is a seasoned litigator, Pekka Bar Litigation Department from 2008 to present. Likewise from Pekka Bar, who is with us as well, is Attorney James Brian Ibrahim A. Ali. His educational background is Executive Program on Clinical Legal Education from Vermont Law Graduate School in 2021. Juris Doctor, he finished in San Beda University College of Law, Menjola. And he was a member of top class. For his background, he is the head of litigation unit, publicly listed company prior to joining the firm. So he was the head. He was the senior associate of Pekka Bar, or he continues to be the senior associate of Pekka Bar up to the present time. For his legal expertise, he specializes in criminal and civil litigation and handles complex cases involving fraud, graft, and corruption. I will be introducing the other lawyers from Pekka Bar who are not here today, but soon they will be introduced as well to the public. Still from Pekka Bar is Attorney Erwin G. Matib. He's a Juris Doctor, and he finished the same at University of the Philippines College of Law 2009. He finished as well BS Accountancy at St. Louis University in 2003. He passed the CPA licensure exam on the same year, which means that he is a CPA lawyer. His background, he is a partner in Pekka Bar Law, 2016 to current, head of Special Projects Department, and head of Tax Department. For his legal expertise, he specializes on dispute resolution, including mediation, arbitration, and litigation. He handles complex criminal cases involving graft and corruption, bank fraud, and white-collar offenses. Finally, he advises clients on tax matters and strategic legal initiatives. Also from Pekka Bar. To complete the 4 private lawyers from Pekka Bar, Attorney Justin Ann L. Lamarca. She is a Juris Doctor. She finished the same at University of the Philippines College of Law in 2011. Prior to that, she finished Bachelor of Arts in Political Science at Ateneo de Manila University in 2007. For Juris Doctor, he finished the same in 2011. Her background, she is currently a partner in Pecabar Law. That's from 2020 up to present. She is the head of litigation department, the head as well of retainer department. For her legal expertise, she specializes in litigation across criminal, civil, commercial, and family law disputes. So that would be all for now for Pecabar. The next firm is Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices. And heading them, of course, from this law firm is Attorney Lorna Patajo Kapunan. She finished her Bachelor of Laws at University of the Philippines in 1978. And her pre-law, AB Political Science, also in UP in 1973. For her background, she used to be the Senior Associate of ACRA Law Offices until 1986. Likewise, she used to be a senior partner in Rocco, Bunyag, Kapunan, Migalios, Perez and Luna Law Offices in 1986. And then she became the founder and senior partner of Kapunan, Lotilla, Garcia, and Castillo Law Offices. That's 2009 to 2011. And then became the founder and senior partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices from 2011 to present. And more importantly, she was once a bar examiner in commercial law. That was in 1988. In conclusion, she has been a practicing lawyer for 48 years already. For her legal expertise, of course, she specializes in litigation, intellectual property, licensing, franchising, corporate and commercial law, mergers and acquisitions, international humanitarian law, criminal law, family law, and estate law. She lectures on family law, media and the client, and code of professional responsibility for MCLE. And finally, she advocates for women's and children's rights, environmental protection, DEI, and LGBTQ and rights. Joining Attorney Kapunan from Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices are Attorney Sonia Margarita Benemerito Castillo. She finished her Bachelor of Laws at San Beda University. For her background, she is a co-founder and senior partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices. She was the director of Intellectual Property Association of the Philippines, IPAP, from 2007 to 2013. And finally, she worked as Court Attorney 5 at the Office of Justice Eduardo Montenegro of the Court of Appeals. For her legal expertise, Attorney Sonia specializes on litigation, civil law, family law, and labor law. She likewise specializes on intellectual property, immigration, land registration, and criminal law. Likewise, from Kapunan and Castillo, we have on the team as well, Attorney Dina Melissa S. Lorenzo Singian. For her background, she's a Juris Doctor, which she finished at Ateneo de Manila University in 2002. She finished as well her Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, minor in Business and Psychology at Ateneo de Manila University, 1998. For her background, she's the junior partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices, starting from 2007 to present. She is the Corporate Secretary and Assistant Corporate Secretary for various companies handled by the firm. For legal expertise, she specializes on litigation, arbitration, family law, estate law, corporate law, civil law, commercial law, environmental law, and labor law. Another significant lawyer from Kapunan and Castillo Law is Attorney Lino Crispi Kapunan. He is a Juris Doctor, and he finished the same at Ateneo de Manila School of Law in 2006. First background, he is the Managing Partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices, Board of Directors, Licensing Executive Society of the Philippines, member of the Board of Directors. He is a member as well of Intellectual Property Association of the Philippines, IPAP, and Licensing Executive Society of the Philippines. And he continues to be a member of various corporations up to the present. For his legal expertise, he specializes on litigation of civil, criminal, corporate, and intellectual property cases, corporation law, labor law, and intellectual property law. He's an awardee of Corporate Litigator of the Year, Philippines, by APAC Insider 2020. To complete the lawyers from Kapunan and Castillo for the first batch only, we have as well in the team, Attorney Bettina N. Zamora. For her educational background, she is a Juris Doctor. She finished the same at Ateneo de Manila School of Law in 2009. She finished prior to that Bachelor of Arts in Diplomacy and International Affairs at De La Salle University College of St. Benilde in 2003. She finished as well Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, De La Salle University, Colegio of St. Benilde in 2001. For her background, she is the co-managing partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices. And for her legal expertise, she specializes on litigation across family and estate law, civil and criminal law, and environmental law and labor law. That is all for Kapunan and Castillo, but only for the first batch. Finally, we have on the team sa legal law, and we would like to call on Attorney Amando Virgil D. Ligutan. For his educational background, he is a Juris Doctor. He finished the same at University of the Philippines College of Law, Diliman in 2009. Prior to that, he finished AB Philosophy as summa cum laude at University of San Carlos, Cebu City in 2003. He was likewise a high school valedictorian at Sacred Heart Seminary in Palo, Leyte in 1999. For his background, he is the managing partner of sa legal law, Sapayan, Lim, Alvarez, and Ligutan Law Offices in Cebu. That is from 2024 up to present. He is a senior lecturer too at UP College of Law, starting from 2020 up to present. He's a law instructor at University of San Jose Recoleto School of Law from 2011 to present. He's a law instructor as well at University of Cebu School of Law, 2023 to present. He's likewise a junior associate. He was a junior associate of Accra Law Offices from 2009 to 2010. And he used to be a legal counsel of Rose Pharmacy Group of Companies. For his legal expertise, of course, he specialized in teaching labor law, remedial law, and public international law. He also specializes on regular legal media being a commentator, and he is a publisher also of Philippine Law Journal, 2009. No? So for the first batch, as I have said during the opening statement, sila muna ito, but definitely there will be succeeding batches whom we will be introducing as private prosecutors joining the House prosecutors as well. What is important today is to express to the public that the private lawyers who are with us, with me and Congressman Chel, shares with the House the cost of bringing this case to the impeachment trial and until the rendition of judgment. They believe in the mandate of transparency and accountability. They support the mandate of the Constitution, and that is the ultimate and sole reason why they are joining the public prosecutors in this impeachment trial. Thank you.
Thank you po, Chair Jinky. Before we open the floor for media question, may we know if there is any opening remarks from our private prosecutors?
Of course, you know who I am. I'm friends with most of you here for controversial cases. I think in my 48 years as lawyer, this probably is what we call payback time. And this is where I think very serious legal issues are concerned because they constitute articles of impeachment against a very high official. And that is why I've committed my time and my law firm's time to assisting the public prosecutors here in their very worthwhile cause, which is the issue of public accountability. This has been a crusade since last year when we also volunteered to help give legal advice to the impeachment team last year. So this is a continuation of our crusade. Let me just say here that this is not about us. This is not about us, public and private prosecutors. This is about all of you. This is about the country. This is about public officials being called to task on their accountability to the Constitution and ultimately to the people. So maraming salamat to the public prosecutors headed by Chair Jinky and of course Chair Congressman Chel Diokno for acknowledging and accepting our offer to help in this very worthwhile endeavor. It will be difficult. The coming days will be difficult. You in media know that there is a lot of fake news, that there is a lot of AIs going on, that there is a lot of falsehood going on. And I'm so happy that you are all here because we are all seekers of truth. There will be those who will distort the truth, especially those who have pledged alliance to the Vice President. We call on media to share with the public responsibility that we as private prosecutors have assumed to help bring out the truth, to help make accountable a public official that deserves to be accountable. With that, I'd like also my seatmate here, my companion since last year, Attorney Saligal.
Thank you so much, Attorney Lorna. I will make this brief because Attorney Kapunan, si Lorna, really gave a good introduction as to the role of the public prosecutors. Personally, it is an honor to be standing beside legal giants, luminaries in the persons of Attorney Kapunan. Then we have Chairwoman Jinky Luistro, and of course, Congressman Chel Diokno. We acknowledge the hard work that this endeavor entails. It will not be an easy task unseating and removing from office the Vice President of the Republic, but it is a task that we do not take lightly. We know this is a solemn obligation that we have to the Filipino people to exact accountability even from the highest of officials of the land. what really motivated me from joining the private prosecution team is the story of a school principal that is ordered to be imprisoned for 11 years for pocketing 5,000 pesos. 11 years for pocketing 5,000 pesos for a school principal. What signal would it give to our children? What signal would it give to generations of Filipinos that will follow? If we can send to jail somebody for pocketing 5,000 pesos for 11 years, why can't we remove from office the sitting vice president for misusing millions of pesos of public funds? We are here because we are advocates of the rule of law. We believe that the law must be applied equally with force to everyone, no matter how high your stature is in society. Having a famous family name should not give you a free pass. You should be held accountable as with any other Filipino out there. That's all.
Good morning, everyone. For Pekabar Group, for Pekabar Law, we are here basically to support the cause and to assist the public prosecutors. And of course, as vanguards of the Constitution, we see to it that the constitutional process, as mandated in the Constitution, is followed through the letter. So basically, that's the role of the firm here right now, and also to assist the public prosecutors during trial, because as you know, they are not, it's been, except for Dean Diokno, it's been a while since they litigated, so they need to be refreshed of the current rules of procedures, etc. So we are here to see to it that they get the necessary support, and of course to help them the cause, and to exact accountability as well. That's it. Good morning.
Attorney Ali.
Good morning, everyone. So the business of impeachment and accountability of public officers is a serious one. We are very, very happy to serve or to contribute in any manner to the public prosecutors. And we will see to it that we are at their disposal, and whatever it is that they need, we are here to provide and assist in order to prosecute properly this case. Thank you.
Thank you, private prosecutors. We will begin with the questions from Bibian Gulia of ABS-CBN2.
Good morning, ma'am. Kong Gerville. You have so far named 10 private prosecutors. Ilan pa po yung tinitingnan natin na masasama dito sa listahan ng private prosecutors, and have we entered their appearance before the Senate Impeachment Court?
They keep on coming. I cannot express the exact figure kung ilan pa ang ilalabas natin or introduce in the succeeding batches, because indeed we are overwhelmed by the support that is coming from the private practitioners. And as a matter of fact, I wish to take advantage also of this opportunity upang pasalamatan ang mga private lawyers. Yung pagtindig nila along with the House of Representatives, that is for us a validation that we are in the right position of the Philippine history, no? So to answer your question, ilan pa? Madami, definitely. But I cannot express the exact figure. They will be filing their entry of appearance. At least what I am certain is for this 10, they will be filing their entry of appearance on Monday. That is simultaneously the deadline for the filing of pre-trial brief, no? Muli, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga private lawyers for standing with the House of Representatives. Pro bono po sila. Voluntary po ang pagtindig nila kasama ang House of Representatives, because they believe in the mandate of the Constitution for accountability.
Ma'am, may we also get an update on the pre-trial brief due on Monday? Kompleto na po ba? Tapos na ang consolidation? Ilan po yung witnesses, final list of witnesses that you're looking at?
We cannot discuss in detail the contents of our pre-trial brief, but what I am certain, the number of witnesses is still approximately 25, and we have listed also all our documents to be submitted. And Mark, we are done also listing our stipulations for admissions, no? Siguro, intayin na lang natin yung filing ng House prosecution with the private prosecutors on Monday of this pre-trial brief.
Last na lang po, sa mga gusto pong sumagot, Acting Senate President Gatchalian said 16 votes are still needed to convict the Vice President despite the Supreme Court ruling, and dalawa pong senador na outside the coercive powers of the Senate. Do you share that sentiment po?
Well, this is subject to debate, I believe, no? Because our law is evolving, and as a matter of fact, even the interpretation as to what constitutes quorum is evolving already, no? So the list I can say as to the number of senators required to convict the Vice President, it is necessary to interpret what representation of Filipino people constitute, no? We understand that the House of Representatives are here. To represent the people in the same way, in a different manner, applying the jurisprudence on Avellino versus Cuenco, which was supplemented by retired Justice Carpio with the case of Trillanes versus Pimentel, at ang dami pa niyang binanggit along the same line, no? Perhaps, I believe that the law is evolving in the same way that this must be interpreted to serve better the mandate of our Constitution.
Thank you po.
Thank you, BBN. We will take a question now from Billy Vegas of Abante Politico.
Hihingi lang po ng comment kasi po binubuhay na naman po yung narrative na ang inuuna na naman ng House ay yung impeachment imbis na yung tulungan yung mga biktima ng lindol.
Kahit na nasa gitna na kami ng paghahanda sa impeachment trial, hindi nalalayo sa aming kaisipan at kalooban ang mga nangyari at mga nasalanta ng lindol sa Mindanao. Actually, nung palang nangyari yon, nagsama-sama na yung mga miyembro ng House. We have already begun a donation and relief efforts, and there have been over 100 members of the House who have already pledged support, some of them even their own personal resources, to help the victims of the earthquake disaster. Under the leadership of Speaker Bogie D, nagsasama-sama po ang mga miyembro ng House of Representatives. Ang impeachment ay isang tungkulin namin sa ilalim ng konstitusyon. Pero yung tulungan natin ang mga nasalanta nitong lindol ay isang humanitarian duty, at duty din namin ito bilang mamamayang Pilipino. Hindi namin kinakalimutan yon. That is also at the forefront of our minds and our hearts, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that those efforts will reach the affected families and communities. Mabanggit ko lang po no, that we have, aside from yung nabanggit ko that over 100 members have already contributed to the relief drive, that is on top of the individual efforts being done by many of our House members to extend assistance through their own districts, local government partners, and constituents. At yun na nga, tulad ng nasabi ko kanina, there have also been pledges from many members of the House using their own personal resources to help our brothers and sisters in Mindanao. Tuloy-tuloy po yung aming paglilingkod while we are in the middle of preparing for this constitutional trial. We are also not forgetting our duties to legislate and of course our duties to provide as much assistance and support as we can to those who were affected by that earthquake. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Tina Panganiban Perez of GMA 7.
Good morning po. Attorney Kapunan mentioned earlier that the coming days will be difficult and that there will be a lot of fake news for the private prosecutors. Are you prepared to be the subject or the target of such disinformation in the coming days?
Are you addressing this to us?
To all the private prosecutors po, ma'am.
Yes. I eat media for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so this is not new. I've worked with many of you, and some of my cases have been controversial, but the common denominator of all the cases I have handled is a moral certainty. It's a certainty that we are for the truth. We are for the rule of law. And so if that is the guide, if our conscience is personally speaking, I go to this impeachment trial with a clear conscience. It does not matter if we are hit personally for all the wrong or right things I've done in the past. What matters here is that we are useful, that we will be useful in supporting or aiding our public prosecutors in presenting a strong, fair, and evidence-based case. So the direct answer to your question, ma'am, is bring it on.
For the other private prosecutors po.
So the hit that we will encounter and or experience, that is expected, but it's nothing compared to the honor that this obligation that we are fulfilling, the honor that it brings. Wala po yan. Yung magiging pambabastos, yung fake news, yung mga memes that will be created attacking us. Wala po yan kumpara sa karangalan na mapabilang sa mga private prosecutors na magpro-prosecute ng mga articles of impeachment against the Vice President. Sabi nga ni Chair Jinky, knowing that we are in the right side of history makes all of the hardship, all of the difficulties, all of the fake news worth it. It's nothing compared to the honor of making sure that those that must be held accountable should be held accountable, no matter the case that you are the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
For PECABAR law, no, PECABAR is not that media savvy really, no. So to us, this is just like any other legal work that we have handled and we are handling. So this is nothing personal, no. We are given a job, we are given a objective, so we'll just fulfill our objective in this case, like any other case that we have handled and we are handling for other clients. So that's it.
Was that also for Attorney Ali, sir? Okay. For the public and the private prosecutors, yung Senate website po was hacked this morning. And a few days ago, the NBI revealed a threat against the Senate building and the surrounding areas. So is this a concern in connection with the impeachment trial?
You know, it's hard to speculate, no, if this is connected to the impeachment trial. But what is clear, we have a schedule already for our first pre-trial conference on June 18, and that will be this coming Thursday. So I wish to express my concern about the security and safety of those who will be joining the filing of pre-trial brief on Monday, and those who will be joining the conduct of the pre-trial conference on Thursday, as well as all the senators, even the defense team, and the officials and employees of the Senate who are staying in the premises, no? And let me take advantage of this opportunity upang manawagan sa ating law enforcement agencies. That includes, of course, the investigative bodies like the NBI, the DOJ, the PNP, no? Atin pong tingnan ito. Let us look into this and make sure na ligtas, safe and secured ang premises ng Senate. If this is connected to the impeachment trial, then we have more reason to make sure that this will be addressed, because this is a very significant process. This is a constitutional process that concerns the interest of every Filipino across the world, no? So, whether connected or not, sana ay tutukan po ito ng ating mga katuwang sa paglilingkod mula sa law enforcement agencies.
Ma'am, is the House of Representatives beefing up security for the public and the private prosecutors? And what about the witnesses and the evidence?
Well, the leadership actually initiated the communication already about providing the necessary security to all the prosecutors, considering the report of the NBI, the hacking of the Senate official website, no? And of course, apart from this, we express likewise our concern in securing as well our witnesses and the evidence to be presented. And there are ongoing communications already in order to address that.
Communication between the House and sino po, ma'am?
Of course, it's the leadership who can help us. Remember that both the private and the public prosecutors will be appearing before the impeachment court to represent the institution and the people whom we serve, no? At syempre, ang institution ang katuwang natin to make sure that we will all be safe as we continue to participate in the impeachment process, not only the prosecutors but also the evidence and the witnesses which we will be presenting during the trial.
Ma'am, meron bang parang safe house for the witnesses, or meron bang vault or storage for the evidence, and meron bang house security na naka-assign na magbantay sa mga ito?
If I answer that, I have to kill you. We cannot divulge it. We cannot divulge. But it's a real concern, no? As practicing lawyers. Maalala natin, nung height ng prosecution, ng drug war sa Quezon City, nasunog ang Quezon City, City Hall. Nung nagkakaroon ng election protest sa COMELEC, nasunog ang COMELEC. So, and we surmise that this may have to do with documents. And so, we echo the concern of our head public prosecutor, Ma'am Jinky, that there should be measures to protect our documents kasi na-transmit lahat. Speaking from an evidence point of view, we have to safeguard our evidence because the evidence from the House has been transmitted already. Most of our documentary evidence has been transmitted to the Senate, and in the pre-trial that will happen, where the pretrial order says there will be pre-marking of documentary exhibits. We have a room full of documentary exhibits, literally and figuratively. We hope, well, we trust that the Senate will provide protection, not only, especially for our people, but as well for the evidence in the impeachment case. The other thing is, I guess, media is watching the courtroom, the impeachment courtroom battle. But I think media should also be sensitive, as Chairman Luistro said, to the courtroom outside. Because there have been many civil society groups that have launched a Senate Watch. There will also be a People's Impeachment Court. Maybe media should also listen to what is happening outside, because if there is any trouble, sabi nga nila, baka may dumating na armed men or baka may coup d'etat, but this is all speculation. What's important is we are all vigilant. Media, kami sa prosecution, and civil society.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Tina. We will now recognize Lance Mexico of Newswatch.
Hello, good afternoon po to the private prosecutors. As we all know po, there are 4 articles of impeachment. Merong about confidential fund misuse, alleged confidential fund misuse, unexplained wealth, bribery, and the threats to the president. Sa mga private prosecutors po, which do you think yung strongest among the articles of impeachment, which would lead to the conviction of the Vice President?
I think I've been asked that question ilang beses na, at saka yung sagot is diretso. Yung pinakamalakas, tsaka yung pinakamalubha na kasalanan ng Vice President, yun yung pagtatangka sa buhay ng ating Pangulo, sa kanyang kabiyak, yung First Lady, tsaka yung former Speaker of the House. Hindi po normal sa isang civilized na bansa gaya ng Pilipinas na yung isang vice-presidente ia-anunsyo sa publiko that she already contracted an assassin to kill no less than the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House. Kung yung ginawa ng Vice President ay nangyari sa ibang bansa, matagal na pong napatalsik sa posisyon yung Vice President. Let's ask the public, let's ask the media. Okay? Is it normal to do that? So personally, that is my take as to ano yung pinakamalakas, yun yung pagbabanta sa buhay ng no less than the highest officials of the land.
How about the others po?
Lahat. Amen.
That question actually goes to the merit of the case, but there's a presumption of regularity. So I think all articles have potentials, based on our review for conviction.
Thank you, Lance. Eden Santos from Net25 is now recognized. Eden, mic.
Hello po. Yan. Kung ano po ang reaksyon nyo doon sa possibility na baka si Senator Escudero ang talagang mag-preside po ng impeachment trial, yan ang isa sa pinag-uusapan po sa Gatchalian Block.
Whether it is acting SP Win Gatchalian or Senator Chis Escudero who will be presiding the impeachment trial. In behalf of the prosecutors, we are expressing our faith and confidence to this accountability mechanism, no? And besides, ito namang impeachment trial na ito, this is not a question of who is the presiding officer, who are the senator judges, who are the public and the private prosecutors. No. By impeachment trial, we're trying to exact accountability to the public officials. This is a response to the Constitution's call, which says that public office is a public trust and that public officials must be accountable to the people at all times. I wish to add, itong gagawin na to ng mga prosecutors, this is not about acquittal or conviction. More than that, this is about enforcing and preserving accountability mechanism which is innate in a democratic country like ours.
So okay lang po if in case na si Senator Escudero.
To complete my statement, whether it is former SP Alan or acting SP Win or the one which you mentioned, Senator Cheese, we express our faith and confidence to accountability mechanism.
So yung pong nakaraang impeachment, siya kasi yung sinasabi na kaya hindi po natuloy dahil doon sa kanyang decision or interpretation doon sa forthwith.
Nonetheless, the circumstances surrounding the first impeachment back in 19 Congress is entirely different in the circumstances surrounding the second impeachment, no? So, if indeed Senator Cheese Escudero will be designated as the presiding officer, let us not judge him on the basis of what happened to the first impeachment back in 19 Congress.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Eden. Next is Rosalicas of UNTV.
Good afternoon po, ma'am, censors. Para lang po sa kaalaman din po ng public, ano po ang pinakamahalagang magiging kontribusyon ng private prosecutors dito po sa impeachment trial ni VP Duterte at bakit kailangan ng private prosecutors? Kailangan din po ba meron pong lead private prosecutor? Meron po bang ganong mechanism?
Let me answer. As we said, no, today there are 3 law firms here. My law firm, Kapunan and Castillo, Saligal, and Pecabar. And there will be many other law firms and lawyers joining. We are a supportive role. We are here, kagaya ng mga kaso kung sa korte, we are here under the control and supervision of the public prosecutors. So, ang role po namin ay assist. Ang role po namin ay to give recent jurisprudence on, because we are all practicing lawyers, recent jurisprudence on what is material, the rules on evidence, the rules of court, updating the public prosecutors on recent jurisprudence in the Supreme Court. So, lahat po kami ay lead dito. Lead private prosecutors po kaming lahat. In the sense that we will all be leading ourselves into supporting whatever the public prosecutors need, or whatever we feel is useful and necessary for a full, fair, and strong presentation of evidence. So, sa sagot niyo po, supporting cast lang po kami. Wala po kaming billing issue dito. Sino ang bida dito? Ang bida po dito ay ang taong bayan. Supporting cast lang po ang private prosecutors. Of course, ang public prosecutors, yun po ang kami wala kaming talent fee eh. So, support lang kami. But it is the public prosecutors really that will be leading this. And that's all I can say. So,
Sabi niyo nga po, supporting characters. Pero are you eyeing to cross-examine the Vice President?
if that is the role that the public prosecutors will assign to us, yes. But I think the public prosecutors are, in our view, all competent to cross-examine the Vice President if and when she appears? That is the big question mark.
Kay Kong Gerville po, kasi nagsalita rin po si VP Duterte about sa impeachment trial kahapon in an interview at sinabi niya na ipinauubaya niya na po sa mga abogado niya yun pong preparation para sa impeachment trial at klinaro niya na yung mga abogado niya gawin daw pong ginusto niya po na maliit lang yung kanyang team pagdating po dito sa impeachment trial. So since ang marami nga pong gustong mag-volunteer, overwhelming yung numbers, so, more confident po kayo sa conviction in terms po ng mga tutulong?
We are confident about the private prosecutors who are helping us, no? Kasi kilala silang magagaling na abogado. Kung tawagin natin, mga abogado de campanilla. And we are really grateful na because of their prominence, nakaka-uplift ng confidence from our part. Of course, we have to acknowledge na kahit po abogado yung 11 prosecutors, except for Chel Diokno because talagang seasoned practitioner din ito. But for the remaining 10 prosecutors, medyo napahinto kami ng practice since we embark in public service. And definitely, kailangan po namin ang tulong ng mga private prosecutors because they are the people specialized in litigation, no? At perhaps, res ipsa loquitur na to. Alam nyo naman kung gaano kalalaki itong law firm na ito, the PECA Bar, the Kapunan, and even sa legal, no? And because of their presence and support that they are extending to us, indeed, talagang na-boost ang confidence ng 11 prosecutors because of this support, no? And not only that, not only the private prosecutors, we are confident as well because of the strong evidence that we have. But to your question, kung confident ako to secure conviction, it is premature to comment to that. We have not seen, as a matter of fact, the evidence of the Vice President. You will remember, yung sagot niya sa Justice Committee, yung sagot niya sa impeachment court, almost the same. And it evolved on constitutional and procedural and technical issues, no? They did not directly respond to the allegations of offenses which were anchored in the impeachable grounds. So it is premature to say that the evidence of the prosecution is enough to secure conviction until and unless we have seen the evidence of the respondent.
Thank you, Rose. Our next question will come from Lines Capante of GMA Online.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon po. On ano lang po, sundutin ko lang about the weight of the evidence. What happens if the Vice President refuses to recognize the issuance of pretrial order? Because I understand the signatory there is Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. What if she decides not to honor it by citing the current Senate leadership issues? Should the Senate impeachment court po consider that as a waiver of her right to present evidence? Halimbawa, hindi siya mag-submit ng pretrial brief. Should the Senate impeachment court po consider that as a waiver already of presenting evidence?
We are all eagerly anticipating the moves that the Vice President will take insofar as the order for pretrial conference is concerned. Malalaman po natin yan within the next few days kung ano yung magiging pagtrato niya sa order na in-issue ng ating presiding officer. It's very hard to put ourselves in the minds of the Vice President and her lawyers, so I'd rather not try to do that. Perhaps let's just wait for them to make their move, and then we can respond accordingly.
Sir, follow-up lang po about yung binanggit po ni Chair Luistro kanina about the Senate the Senate and the rules should evolve to reflect is evolving and should reflect proper representation. Based on existing jurisprudence po ba, meron po bang batas or jurisprudence allowing the Senate Impeachment Court to revise their rules and change the threshold needed for conviction? I'm just curious kung if they are allowed to change it, the 16.
Well, insofar as the number, yung two-thirds requirement, yun ay hindi mababago yun dahil nasa konstitusyon yan. Other rules of procedure are within the power of the Senate to amend or revise. Yung isa na lang siguro magiging issue, and really this is not well settled by jurisprudence, is how do you count the two-thirds? Yung ganun, it's very similar to yung question tungkol sa quorum. Kung dati ang pananaw ng karamihan ay dapat 13, kinlaro na yan ng ating Supreme Court that it could be less than 13 depending on how many senators are within the coercive reach of the Senate. Now, whether that will also apply to the impeachment court ay hindi pa yan nasa-settle ng jurisprudence. So, hindi rin natin alam kung paano ang magiging pagpapasya ng Supreme Court kung sakasakaling umabot doon itong issue.
I wish to add, no? Alalahanin natin the reason why the House of Representatives is here, why the Senate is there. Isa lang ang dahilan. That is to represent the interest of the Filipino people. Doon sa usapin ng change of leadership, narinig natin yung term na within the coercive means of the Senate. And if we are beyond the coercive means, the question is, do you think that the senators are in the proper position to say that they are representing the interest of the Filipino people? I wish to anchor my interpretation on the required number for conviction on that line. Kung makaka-attend, kung makaka-participate, kung makakaboto, then you are representing the interest of the Filipino people. But if you are beyond the coercive means, and as a matter of fact, hindi ka nga nag-attend, hindi ka nga bumoto, why will you be considered for the purpose of determining the number of required votes for the purpose of conviction? Well, this is just my personal opinion. I just want to remind the public about the reason why we have senators. And the reason is to represent the interest of the Filipino people. This impeachment trial is one of the instances when the representation of the interest of the Filipino is very much needed. So kung hindi mag-attend ng trial, hindi mag-attend ng botohan, how can we say that they truly are representing the interest of the Filipino people? And in which case, it should be considered for the purpose of interpreting. After all, if I will be very much literal, what the Constitution provides is 2/3 of all the senators. It used all. It did not use 24. So it is important to hear as well what the Supreme Court will say about this.
Thank you po. Thank you po. That's all on my part.
Thank you, Linesca. Let us hear from Gab Lalu of Philippine Daily Inquirer. Gab.
Hello po. 2 questions po. First, natanong ko na rin po to kay Chair Luistro kahapon. Do you agree dun sa sinasabi ni Congressman Zia Adjong, yung spokesperson po ng prosecution team, na mukhang wala pong ebidensya si VP Sara, wala siyang depensang na ma-mount kasi yung strategy niya is towards dismissal? siguro po sa private prosecutors po natin.
I think yung tinong mo is evident sa sagot ng Vice President mismo. Kasi napakakapal ng sagot, pero ang nagpakapal nun ay annexes. Ano yung annexes? Annexes na hindi bago, annexes ng final niya sa Supreme Court, annex na final niya sa House Committee on Justice, puro annexes. Pag tinignan natin yung kanyang answer, wala namang allegation, wala namang statement kung ano yung ipipresenta nila. On all the articles, they did not state, they did not deny. General denials lang, pero hindi nila sinabi, deny namin to kasi ito ang ebidensya namin. Ganun dapat ang sagot sa answer. All 4 articles of impeachment, wala pong sinabi kung bakit dinideny niya ang culpable violation of the Constitution, ang grave threats, ang bribery, ang unexplained wealth, ang betrayal of public trust. Wala siyang sinagot doon. Walang sinabing we have witnesses to show or this is our evidence. Wala. Question na naman niya, inulit na naman niya. Jurisdiction, 1-year ban, due process. At saka partial daw ang House Committee on Justice, nag-mini trial, abusive daw ng coercive power sa subpoena, at gumawa pa ng sariling ebidensya ang House Committee on Justice beyond the impeachment complaints. Ngayon, sa tanong mo, tama ba ang sinabi ng spokesperson ng House? Ang sagot, oo. Kung meron kang ebidensya, ba't katakot na sagutin sa answer? I would have thought that the Vice President was more courageous and more transparent since sinabi ng kanyang mga spokesperson at defense team na ready na sila. At maalala natin ang sinabi niya noon, to quote a previous maybe long time statement, meron daw bloodbath na mangyayari. Saan ang bloodbath na yun? Nakikita ko, personally, bubble bath yan. Hindi bloodbath.
Sige po, sir. Sige po.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to second guess the defense of. It's hard to second guess the intention of the defense, no? But that is their position. So for us, no, we will just because the burden of evidence right now is with the prosecution, so we just have to establish our case, regardless of their defense, whether it's pure denial or legal, whatever it is. So we just concentrate on how to establish our cause of action, as indicated in the articles of impeachment.
Regarding my second question po, kanina po kasi nabanggit yung possible, na ngayon na na-publicize na kung sino yung mga private prosecutor, possible yung mga personal attacks. I'm just anticipating. Hindi po kaya magagamit yung background ng iba po sa inyo against yung processes o yung pag-participate nyo sa impeachment, sa prosecution team? Kasi if I'm not mistaken po, parang dalawa po sa mga private prosecutors na nandito ay may background as assistant presidential legal counsel ni President Marcos. Baka po kasi sabihin na naman may politikang involved or baka gusto niyo pong i-clarify yung position niyo dun.
Well, we cannot really hide our identity because PECABAR really, since the time of President Marcos Sr., is closely associated really with the Marcoses. But it is the House who enlisted our support, not the President, no? Or not anyone of the first family. So, I mean, we cannot hide our identity, unfortunately. But as you can see, me and Dean Diokno we are adversaries in court, no? So, but now, we are here together with a common cause. So, as I've said, this is just any other regular case handled by the firm. It's nothing special. So it is just a purely professional engagement.
May I also correct, no? Siguro nakita nyo, naka-flash sa screen that I was like Pecabar, no? I was assistant to the president, no? Mali po yun. I never worked with Malacanang, never had the opportunity. So typo error lang po. Ang assistant po ang Pecabar. But I echo, no? Pecabar here, we've worked closely with Pecabar kasi ayaw natin sabihin, sinasabi ng part of the disinformation is that this is a Malacanang Senate. Baka sabihin rin nila is this is a Malacanang prosecutors, public and private, kasi nakalagay dyan sa biodata ng Pecabar. I have worked with Pecabar and I can speak for the private prosecutors and for my lawyers. We do not receive instructions from anyone, whether from the House, whether from the Senate, whether from Malacanang. We do not receive instructions. We are here. We give our professional help. We do our own personal judgments as to political issues and our own separate political beliefs. Iba po yun. Yung mga background po namin, iba rin po yun. So, sasabihin nila na Malacanang ang private prosecutors, ay mag-isip-isip sila. Magaling rin kami mag-file ng cyber libel complaint, kagaya ng public prosecutors.
So on the part of our firm, we are vouching on the credibility, the professionalism, and most importantly, yung independence ng ating mga kasamahan from Pecabar. Whatever their past political affiliation, they have nothing to do on the task at hand. Napaka-independent, napaka-credible, napaka-professional, and more than anything, napaka-competent po ng ating mga abogado from Pecabar. Again, it is an honor to stand beside them in this legal battle.
We've heard already the statement of our private prosecutors. As a matter of fact, they are detaching themselves from anyone, no? This is their independent decision to help the public prosecutors. At gusto ko ring ipaunawa sa inyo, by becoming a prosecutor, we are maintaining a stand. And that is to prosecute the Vice President, which will lead, in the absence of their evidence, to a possible conviction. But this position does not necessarily mean that we are associated with any group, most especially Malacanang. We want to make it clear, ang pagpili po ng private prosecutors is exclusive decision ng 11 House prosecutors. It is us who decide kung sino ang tutulong sa amin na private prosecutors. And as they have said, we are not receiving instruction from anyone.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Gab. Milky Rigonan from DCRH is next.
Good afternoon. Sir, based doon sa first batch ng listahan na binanggit ni Chair Luistro, ang sabi niya nga ay masasabi ito na mga dekampanilya. Pero based on the composition now in the Senate, papaano po ba ito, tingin ninyo as a private prosecutors? More on the evidence or more on sa kampihan, pro or anti the Vice President?
The only way to answer that is, and the only correct way to answer is, it is always on the basis of evidence. Yung impeachment, correct, isa itong hybrid. Sabi nga, sui generis is political, legal process. Pero as an impeachment court and as lawyers here, alam namin, isang bagay lang yung dapat tingnan ng isang husgado, ng isang judge, ng isang senator judge, yun lang yung ebidensya. Kung malakas yung ebidensya, that should lead to the removal of the Vice President. Kung mahina, that should lead to her acquittal. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Yun lang.
To your question also, ma'am, will it be decided on the basis of evidence or on political affiliation? I would like to believe that when the senator judges took their oath of impartiality, and also when the Senate rule says that the Senate impeachment court judges must be politically neutral, I would like to rely on a presumption of good faith. Naniniwala po ako sa lahat ng senator judges that they will be true to their oath of political neutrality and impartial justice. Pag nagkamali naman ako sa paniwalang yan, taong bayan na magde-decide. Because this will be judged not only in the Senate impeachment court, but in the court of public opinion. So, if I am mistaken in my good faith reliance, then let the people decide. But to your question, naniniwala po ako na mananalo kami based on the evidence. Maging 16 votes yan, 12 votes yan, 24 votes yan, or 22 votes yan. Conviction ang lalabas dyan.
Thank you, ma'am. Samantalayin ko lang, mama, for Congresswoman Gerville Luistro. Lumabas po kasi si Kong Chel. Nabanggit niya kanina based on the question of Billy Vegas doon sa paghahanda po sa tagpagtulong sa mga biktima po ng lindol. Nabanggit po kanina ni Kong Chel na meron daw pong 100 congressmen ang tumutulong po sa pagbibigay po ng ayuda. Pwede pong malaman kung magkano na ho ang nalilikom ng House of Representatives.
I am not very much certain about the accumulated amount already, but Kong Chel is here. If you would like to raise that question to him, no? What I am certain the 11 prosecutors are part of this intention to help the victims of the earthquake in Mindanao.
Kong Chel, ulitin ko lang yung question ko. Nabanggit niyo po kanina sa question po ni Billy na meron pong nalilikom na rin ang more than 100 congressmen para po sa pagtulong sa mga biktima ng lindol sa Mindanao. Meron na po bang kung magkano po ang halaga dito po sa House of Representatives?
Hindi ko po kabisado yung halaga, pero I can report to you kung ilan ng mga members of the House who have pledged support. Hanapin ko lang po sa aking phone. Ayan. Ayan. So far, 139 lawmakers, a total of 9.29 million. At kasama po doon ang mga public prosecutors na humaharap sa inyo at mga kasamahan pa namin who are not here this morning.
That only shows na hindi po nakakaligtaan sa kabila ng aming tough preparation for the impeachment trial. Hindi po nakakalimot ang 11 prosecutors, most especially sa kanila pong tungkulin para sa ating mga kababayan, most especially our beloved countrymen na biktima ng lindol sa Mindanao.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Marian Enriquez of TV5.
Hi, good afternoon po. May we know lang po sana if you can share some of your meetings. Madalas po namin kayo nakikita dito sa People Center. Kamusta po ba? Have you conducted mock trial? Maybe you can share some experiences dito po sa paghahanda natin. Some details.
We are not supposed to discuss in detail the preparation that the prosecution team is having, no? But I believe I have shared with you already na yes, nagmamak kami. We do meetings, we do big mock and small mock, but that's the least we can say.
Sa mga private prosecutors po, have you encountered any of the yung lawyers ng defense team ni VP Sara Fortune Narvasa and Salazar Law? Kamusta po sila? Any you wanna share about them and ano pong masasabi niyo sa kanila?
For Pecabar, the firm has been in practice for more than 40 years. So definitely we've crossed paths. So we have utmost respect to them. And I would assume they also have utmost respect towards us, not only Pecabar, but also the other private prosecutors. So we have nothing against them. We understand what they do. And I hope that they also understand what we do as private prosecutors.
We are brethren of the profession, so as I've said, this is just purely professional engagement, nothing personal. So we might be passionate, no, in court, but outside we still remain friends.
There was this one time I had encounter when Attorney Powa was invited to the Committee on Justice hearing. Ako din ay nandun, so kami ay nakapag-usap ng, I think, in 5 minutes. Sabi niya, sir, napapanood ko po yung mga interview mo. Sabi ko rin, I also watch your interviews. Sabi ko, Attorney Powa, wala pong personalan, trabaho lang. It just so happened that we are on the opposing sides of this legal battle. So nothing personal to the defense team. Trabaho lang po ito. Trabaho lang on our part as lawyers.
As I said earlier, I've been in practice for 48 years now. I'm probably older than some of them, their ages combined. But I have encountered SIG and Attorney Narvasa, senior partners of the firm, the younger ones as well. No, let me say that this is competence of lawyers is very good, but regardless of how competent lawyers are, it will still, at the end of the day, be based on the strength of the evidence for or against conviction or acquittal. Kung minsan, sa mga interview ko po, sometimes I say not nice things, but alam niyo po naman, kilala niyo po ako. Ako po ay magalang pero medyo bastos kung minsan. So kung may sinasabi po ako tungkol sa mga kalabang ko dito sa impeachment case, pagpasensyahan niyo na lang. But I'd like to reiterate that the law firm representing and the lawyers representing the defense and the Vice President are all very competent lawyers, but this will not sink or swim based on the competence of the lawyers. This will be decided on the strength or weakness of the evidence presented.
Speaking of Attorney Powa, he has time and again said na wala raw pong impeachable offense si VP Sara. But if you could tell the Filipino people one thing about the evidence po ng prosecution has against Vice President Sara Duterte, what would it be?
I will leave it to our chair.
Of course, we vehemently oppose that statement of Attorney Powa. First and foremost, wala kami dito if we don't believe that there is an impeachable offense committed by the Vice President. We are not allowed to discuss the merits, and that includes the evidence. But let me just state for the record, we have 4 strong articles of impeachment against VP Sara Duterte.
I think everyone saw the video, so that speaks for itself.
Are you done, Marian?
Thank you po.
Before we conclude, are there any remaining questions from the media? If none, we ask our distinguished guests to give their closing remarks.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Kagaya ng sinabi namin, kami po sa private prosecutors, and I'd like to speak for my law firm, Kapunan ng Casillo Law Offices, handang-handa po kami maging assistance, maging assist at tumulong po sa public prosecutors under their control and supervision para po mapakita ang katunayan. So we are all seekers of the truth. And we are here to assist the public prosecutors in presenting that truth to the public. Thank you.
On the part of our firm, sa legal law, we are a Cebu-based law firm. It entails sacrifice, time, and attention for us to join the prosecution team. Pero yung nasa isip ko, siguro 30 years from now or 50 years from now, siguro yung tanong, no, yung endeavor to unseat the Vice President or to hold her accountable, was it worth pursuing? Isang bagay na ayaw kong pagsisihan sa darating na panahon. So yung firm, as a lawyer, we will devote 110% ng aming kakayahan na ma-prosecute successfully yung 4 articles of impeachment, not to unseat the Vice President, but more than that, to make sure na yung batas ay may paiiral natin ng patas, mayaman ka man, mahirap ka man. You may have the famous family name, but if you breach the Constitution, you should be held accountable for that. Yun lang.
For PECA-Bar law, no, I just like to say this, no, because it's also part of history already. In 2011, the late JPE, our principal, no, led the impeachment trial as presiding officer of the late Chief Justice Corona. Now, 15 years later, PECA-Bar is again in the forefront of an impeachment trial, this time against the Vice President. No? So I think I can say to our principal that PECA-Bar is in good hands.
Siguro sa akin, briefly lang, may nabanggit kanina na hindi ba kami natatakot. I'll be very honest, we're private individuals. We're not even media savvy. Definitely, we're scared. We're worried about what will come after this. But I guess, given the seriousness of the job or the task ahead, nakakatakot pero hindi kami pwedeng maduwag. So itutuloy namin to.
We are eagerly awaiting and anticipating the proceedings that will happen, both the pre-trial and the trial. Pero hindi rin po namin kinakalimutan yung aming tungkulin bilang mambabatas at yung aming tungkulin bilang mamamayan na tulungan yung mga nabiktima ng lindol sa Mindanao. So we are multitasking but at the same time making sure that everything that we have to do will be done properly and efficiently. Thank you.
In behalf of the entire impeachment team of the House of Representatives, I wish to state for the record that we are here to stand for the Constitution. We are here to stand for accountability mechanism. We are here to stand for the interest of every Filipino across the world. Amid all the sacrifice, amid all the hard work, amid the bashing, there is and there will always be honor being at the forefront of these efforts to enforce and preserve the accountability mechanism. Ang pagtindig po naming lahat dito sa House of Representatives, ito po ay para sa bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Once again, thank you, House Lead Prosecutor Jinky Bitrics Luistro, House Prosecutor Chel Diokno, and to our private prosecutors, Lorna Kapunan, Marport Pua, Amando Virgil Ligutan, and James Brian Ibrahim A. Ali. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And to everyone, sa mga kasama sa media, and of course, the technical people sa House na tumulong sa press ko na ito. Maraming salamat po. Magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat.